What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're just joining us, buckle up, because we've got absolute bombshell news dropping right now that is lighting the NFL world on fire. I'm talking about a trade rumor that could completely reshape the Dallas Cowboys secondary and have ripple effects across the entire league. We are talking about none other than Greg Newsome, a former first-round pick of the Cleveland Browns, now being heavily linked to a surprise blockbuster move to the Dallas Cowboys. And here's the kicker. There's talk, yes, wild talk of a $300 million contract number being thrown around. I know what you're thinking. Is this legit? Is it overhyped? Is Jerry Jones actually about to pull the trigger on one of the biggest defensive trades in recent Cowboys history? Well, stick around because we're breaking this down from every angle. The player, the fit, the finances, the locker room impact, fan reaction, the NFC East arms race, and the broader implications on Dallas's short and long-term future. First, let's paint the scene here. Greg Newsome is not just any cornerback. He was taken 26th overall in the 2021 NFL Draft, and ever since then, he's been a foundational piece of a Browns defense that, while often underrated, has quietly become one of the more aggressive, talented units in the AFC. Standing at 6 feet tall, around 190 pounds, with exceptional footwork and closing speed, Newsome is known for his smooth hips, excellent man coverage skills, and the ability to play both outside and in the slot. He's a versatile chess piece. So when a guy like that becomes available, or is even rumored to be on the block, teams around the league start to pay attention. And with the Cowboys dealing with recent injuries in their secondary, most notably to Darren Bland, who had been a rising star in this defense, the fit for someone like Newsome could not be more timely. Bland was having an amazing breakout season, picking off passes, returning them for touchdowns, and holding his own against elite receivers until he went down with a potentially season-disrupting injury. That left the Cowboys with a gaping hole opposite Trayvon Diggs. And that's where Newsome comes in. Now let's talk about the contract part, which has social media absolutely melting down. The number circulating right now, $300 million, sounds insane on the surface. It's the kind of number you associate with quarterbacks, franchise-changing wide receivers, or pass rushers. So, naturally, people are asking, how could a cornerback possibly be in that conversation? Is this real, or is it classic rumor mill chaos? Now, I want to be crystal clear. There is no official confirmation from the Cowboys front office, the Browns organization, or Greg Newsome's camp that a deal has been signed or that $300 million has been offered. This appears to be speculative chatter from insiders, agents, and analysts close to the situation who might be testing the waters or setting up contract leverage. However, we have to recognize that the NFL salary landscape is evolving fast. The cap is going up. Teams are structuring contracts more creatively than ever. And when you look at the fact that young, durable, scheme-versatile cornerbacks are in extremely short supply, especially those on rookie contracts, Newsome's value skyrockets. Especially when you're the Dallas Cowboys, a team that not only has Super Bowl ambitions this year, but also finds itself under intense pressure to win now while key players like Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb are in or approaching their primes. So from a roster construction perspective, adding a 24-year-old cornerback with multiple years left on his deal and the potential to grow into an all-pro level player makes all the sense in the world. That said, $300 million would be a ludicrous overpay unless it's structured over a decade or includes other financial gymnastics, like massive non-guaranteed back-end years or unique bonuses tied to performance and health. That's not to say Jerry Jones wouldn't explore it. Remember, this is the same front office that went all in on Ezekiel Elliott, paid big bucks to offensive linemen, and has never shied away from swinging for the fences when it comes to splash signings and trades. And let's not forget they need a win with a fan base. The Cowboys haven't reached the NFC Championship game in decades, and every year, the frustration builds. Making a massive move for Newsome wouldn't just address a personnel need, it would send a message. It would say, we're not waiting for next year. We're going all in right now. Imagine this, Trayvon Diggs and Greg Newsome locking down the outside, with Bland returning healthy and moving into the slot. That's a secondary capable of rivaling the best in the league. That's how you compete with the Eagles' aerial attack, how you slow down the 49ers' elite receivers, how you keep up with AFC juggernauts should you reach the Super Bowl. Now, let's zoom out a bit and consider the Cleveland Browns' point of view. Why would they even entertain this trade? Well, the Browns have invested heavily in their defense, and with Deshaun Watson's enormous contract and other positional spending, they are likely facing some financial pressure. Trading Newsome would free up future obligations and potentially net them valuable draft capital to fill other needs. If they believe they can get similar production from cheaper talent or upcoming players, it could be a strategic move. It wouldn't be the first time a team traded a player still in his prime to maintain financial flexibility. But make no mistake, if the Browns move on from Newsome, they'll need a solid return. Reports suggest the Cowboys might be offering a 3rd and 5th round pick combo, or even potentially a player plus pick package. The real question is, what's Newsome worth to Dallas, especially right now with the season on the line? If they think he's the final piece to make a championship push, no price is too high. If they view him as a short-term rental, that changes the equation. The rumor that a massive contract extension might accompany the trade suggests the Cowboys want him for the long haul, not just a playoff run. And that leads us back to the locker room dynamic. Bringing in a guy like Newsome changes things. He's young, but already experienced. He brings AFC toughness, and if he's walking in with a $200, $300 million contract, you better believe the rest of that locker room will take notice. That kind of money creates expectation, pressure, spotlight. The media storm would be enormous. But in Dallas, that's business as usual. The Cowboys are one of the most scrutinized, followed, and analyzed teams in all of sports. It's a pressure cooker, but Newsome seems like the kind of player who could thrive under that heat. He's confident, articulate, and doesn't back down from a challenge. And let's not forget, he'd be playing under Dan Quinn, one of the most respected defensive minds in the league. If anyone can elevate Newsome's game to the next level, it's Quinn. Strategically, this could also be Jerry's way of preemptively matching what other NFC contenders are doing. The Eagles have loaded up on talent. The 49ers just keep reloading. Even the Lions are emerging as real threats. The Cowboys can't afford to stand still. Sitting on their hands at the trade deadline sends the wrong message to the team and the fans. Now's the time to be aggressive. And that's exactly what this trade would be: aggressive, bold, risky, and potentially brilliant. Of course, there's the fan reaction, and it's been wild. Cowboys fans are split. Some are thrilled. They're calling this the missing piece and already talking Super Bowl. Others are very concerned about cap space, contract structure, the health risks, and the possibility that Newsome doesn't live up to the hype. And then there are the Browns fans, many of whom are furious. They see Newsome as part of their long-term core, and trading him now when the team is still competitive feels like waving the white flag. If the deal goes through, expect a tidal wave of reactions from all sides. Social media will explode. Talk shows will dissect it to death. ESPN will have wall-to-wall coverage. And this channel, you better believe, will be here breaking it all down. Bottom line, the Dallas Cowboys are in a pivotal moment. They're trying to win a championship in the most cutthroat, competitive environment the NFC has seen in years. If they believe Greg Newsome, II is the guy who can lock down half the field, help them get past the Eagles, 49 years, and potentially a rematch against the Chiefs, then this is a move they have to consider. The $300 million number may be overblown, but even if it's $100 or $120 million over 5 years, it still makes a statement. The Cowboys are tired of watching other teams hoist the Lombardi Trophy. They want to bring it back to Dallas. Whether this trade actually happens, and whether it works out, will be the story of the season. So stay locked in, subscribe if you haven't, and get ready because things are about to get wild in Big D. Let me know in the comments, should Dallas pull the trigger? Is Greg Newsome worth the hype? And what's your limit? How much would you pay? Because this trade might go from rumor to reality faster than any of us expect.